Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. If you've been with us before, welcome to Chris's Granite Paradise, which is behind me. And today we are looking at some more rocks in a box. That's what I call my mail series, rocks I get in the mail. In this case, again, they are coming to us from Adam over at West Coast Rocks, hailing to us from Oregon. He sends me routinely very nice rocks, so I keep ordering from him when I can. I highly recommend him. I'll put a link to his store at the end. But just look at the size of these babies. This is what makes it fun. Alright, we'll get these opened up here. Let's see what we got. Move the box way out of the way so you guys can see. Oh yeah, Christmas time all over again. And as is often the case, and I've said this before about my dear friend Adam, I ordered 3 rocks. And Adam has sent me 4 other rocks. Anyway, stick with me today. We're gonna open these up, see what they are, and talk rocks for a while. Adam, you're gonna laugh at me. So I've told Adam a few times that he can go a little easier on the packaging, because like these are hard to get into. And yet, so this beautiful granitoid rhyolite mystery nodule from the Rogue River, Oregon, it feels like about 6 pieces. So I have a feeling there's a reason Adam, who has sold I think several thousand items from his store, there's a reason he packs things the way he does. Yeah, let's see what this looks like when I open it. Yeah, I feel at least 3 pieces, maybe 4. Yep, I think this one didn't make it, guys. I'm a little concerned. Yep, there's a few pieces in there. That's all right. This is the first one I've probably ordered. Geez, I don't know how much I've ordered from Adam. A lot, and this is the first one that's 2 pieces. I thought I felt 3. I guess if you count that, then we've got 3 pieces. So if you count that one, I was right. That does look like a cool rock, though. Interesting. The first rock we're looking at up close today, I want to seize the moment while the sun is shining. We're kind of dodging raindrops here. I do see a little bit of reflections. If the rock hadn't broken in half, I would be tempted to think it's something along the lines of a granodiorite, because it almost looks like pyroxene crystals or mica in maybe a quartz matrix. And yet, because it broke, this is obviously an old fracture because it's rusted, so it's really hard to tell. I think we're going to leave it with Adam's description of a granitoid rhyolite mystery nodule, I think is what he put. Because at least just at first glance like this, maybe we'll see more when we look at it wet here in a minute. But it's really hard to tell. And the fracture throws me off. I would have been fairly confident looking at the outside of this rock of one thing, and yet now seeing the inside makes me think something else. So Adam, I'm going to agree with you that this is a granitoid rhyolite mystery nodule from the Rogue River. Let's be honest, guys, when we are rock hunting, especially river rocks and things of that nature, most of the time we're not going to know. Let's take a look at it wet now, if I can avoid getting the other ones wet. Still doesn't tell me anymore, but it's a beautiful rock. I really like it. I'm having a hard time with the identification. In the sunlight, like I said, there was some slight reflections. Not really cleavage faces though. It's almost more of a micaceous mineral, in my estimation. If you guys have a different opinion, please mention it in the comments. Then we have, this is another multicolored granite-like mystery nodule from the Rogue River. Yep, we all know a lot of the rocks. There are a lot of rocks that I have out here that are multicolored granitoid mystery nodules. Adam, I'm going to remember your words. I love it. Beautiful. This does look like granite though. And we talked about this in the previous video I did on Adam's rocks. He sent a piece of granite. And what's cool about in the Rogue Rivers, granites are, from what I can tell, they're not common over there at all. I do see some veins. And you usually don't see veins in granite, but given the turbulent geology of that area, I would not rule anything out. Yep, again, I'm going to agree with you, Adam. It is a multicolored granite-like mystery nodule. Okay, now this one's a little easier for us. Adam is calling this an agatized basalt stone from the Umpqua River in Oregon. And I would have to say that's definitely, I got my wet fingerprint on there, but other than that, we're seeing it dry now. It looks like basalt that fractured and either quartz or agate filled in. Let's get it wet. Okay, immediately, wow, here's something that strikes me. Adam, I'd like to know if this comes from a similar area as your brecciated rhyolite, I believe is what you called this one, or your orbicular rhyolite. Otherwise known as bullseye agate. This did not come in this order, but I brought it over here because in a minute I want to make an interesting comparison. But I do see some similar colorations between these. So Adam, you might want to clarify that for us. Very pretty. I don't know where the Umpqua River is in relation to the Rogue River. I believe these other two come from the Rogue River. Again, Adam, correct me if I'm wrong. Very nice pieces. Let's see the other side. Yeah, it's a nice solid piece too. Colorful. Awesome. Now to my purchases, and while we're on the subject of that yellow, so Adam sells these from time to time. I think I have a few from him. He's calling them a brecciated rhyolite, which I agree with. You can see, I mean, in this piece, they're classic. They're all triangles, like perfect triangles, shattered and glued back together, probably with quartz. But note the triangular pattern. And then I want to compare it to his bullseye agates. And this is another predominant pattern, and I have a growing collection of these. I'm going to put them down so I can get water on them. I think in your most recent listing, Adam, you called this orbicular rhyolite. And my conclusion on these is that it is quartz crystal growth patterns as opposed to agate. And yet I'm confused as to what they grew around, because there really doesn't seem to be much in terms of matrix at all. It's just all these spheres, like spherules of quartz crystals. Here you can see it really good. And again, I want to point out to you guys, this is a consistent enough pattern. It's not just a one-off rock. Maybe I'll do a video just about these. I think I said that last time. They're such a fascinating material. I've got a nice pile of them. Some of them are big. But these are cool because they're triangular. Totally different. Same exact color scheme, if you want to call it that. Yet they're triangles. And here you can clearly see most of the rocks. The rock is matrix, and then it's filled in with quartz crystals. So I see why he's calling this a brecciated rhyolite. But I just love the triangular pattern compared to the spherical pattern. I hope you can see that. Night and day there. Yet they're pretty much the same colors. And I believe they're both from the Rogue River. Let's look at the other side. Adam, this is a beautiful piece. Awesome. Okay, and I just sprayed water all over it, but this Adam is calling a Jasper. And I don't remember if it was California or Oregon. I pretty much assume that if he does not say California, it's from Oregon, because that's where he's from. That's where he collects. But look at the banding in this. So as these quartz veins were forming, maybe they're better on the other side. No, we were looking at it right. Ah, there they are. It's mostly this section right here. It appears that as the quartz grew and filled in these cavities, if that's indeed what went on, there's that one pink layer. Here you can see it really good. Not sure what would cause that in a Jasper environment. Because to my knowledge, in a Jasper, there really aren't cavities that fill in with quartz crystals. It's more of a fluid filling as the rock is shattered and stretched. But yet here you can clearly see that the growth happened in layers. Yeah, I like that. Let's get the other side wet. Wetter is better when it comes to rocks. Remember that saying, wetter is better. Now here, Adam, I'm going to disagree with you on this one. I think you had it as a Jasper, but I'm thinking it's a rhyolite. And I'd like to know, I mean, I don't really see conchoidal fracture. And the rock is very rounded. Usually Jaspers seem to be, I mean, this I know is Jasper, and it's pretty rounded too. Again, we humbly guess on a lot of these. But this is a spectacular red, whether it's rhyolite or, the other reason I said rhyolite is it appears to be banded. You can see a layered structure there. Which again makes me think, especially since there's so much rhyolite in Oregon, that this is a very nice, solid red rhyolite. A couple little veins going through it. Let's turn it over. That's a big one. I think this was 11 pounds. Ooh, wetter is better. Here comes the rain again. Last but not least, this is a green and yellow Jasper. Boy, I'm curious as to this one's origin too. Because it's very smooth. Really smooth rock. Not much difference between the quartz and the matrix. Which I guess in a jasper would make sense. Because jasper and quartz are both hard. But I love how smooth these are. Anyway, these will be added to my ever-growing Oregon / California / West Coast collection. Thank you again, Adam, for these awesome finds. Looking for another piece of that brecciated rhyolite to show you guys. I mean, here's one here. That's kind of a different color than the one from today. And here you can clearly see how the crystals grew into cavities. So the rock shattered, and then there was crystal growth in between the broken pieces. See, some of these are more clear to interpret than others. That's one of the fun things about geology. Now this is similar to that jasper with the pink layers in the veins. Both of these are similar. I wonder if this is a common pattern in jaspers. Adam, I believe you told me that these were California, Northern California, but the geology could be similar. You guys tell me what you think. Okay, that appears to be the rhyolite. That's another piece of the rhyolite. Brecciated. Anyway, the fun goes on. Thank you guys for coming along. This has been a fun video. Please like, share, subscribe, leave your comments. I always appreciate hearing from you guys. We will see you on the next one.